Hi, I'm Ruth Hanston, and this afternoon we're going to talk about resilience. But this is now, we're at the fourth C, which is curiosity. And I know that you might not feel like curiosity is something that you can manage right now with everything else that's going on. Let's really look at what the advantages are, because this is actually one of my favorite ways of coping and dealing with situations that are really difficult. So if we start at 7 a.m., remember we've talked about compassion for yourself and others, gratitude for all that you do have, commitment to the values, to your purpose, and your connections, that which you fall back on, that net, that web that is supporting you, and you supporting them as well. And then curiosity now. Let's talk about the advantages of curiosity, because, it's actually going to help you step back and disengage a little bit from the realities of this particular horror show that you might be encountering each day when you go to work. So I don't want to minimize in any way what you've experienced with, trying to provide PPE and the people you need to take care of patients. And sometimes it really has seemed like the whole world was a horror show, and it was a made-for-TV movie that didn't make it because it was unbelievable. So sometimes if you can take that step back, just disengage for a moment, it allows us to look at the situation more objectively, to learn from it for ourselves, for our own personal growth, as well as how to solve the problem. When I was working on my dissertation on critical thinking, clinical judgment, curiosity is one of those traits that you must have to be a good critical thinker. So stepping back, trying, like you're filming it, trying to then disengage enough, take that breath, and you can be more effective when you look at things just a little bit differently than when you're just completely engaged in the thick of it. Viktor Frankl, when he was at Auschwitz, talked about how there's a freedom in being able to make a choice to respond to a situation in a way that is more effective. So between that stimulus and the response is that space. And in that space is your power. That's your power to choose how you might respond, if we allow ourselves to do that. And in that response is our ability to grow and that freedom that no one can really take away from you. So just to give an example of how curiosity helps. So let's say you're a parent, you're working from home, and you've got toddlers and maybe the school-age kid, and they've been really quiet for a while. You're trying to deal with all the COVID stuff, and they're not in school, and it's just a mess. And then you walk into the room and you see that there's toilet paper scattered everywhere in little tiny pieces. And it was like your last roll that you had, and people are hoarding it again. And so if you, instead of reacting and being angry or upset or what are we going to do about toilet paper, that really taking a step back and being curious, saying, okay, so what's going on? What's going on here? What are you guys doing? And in that moment, you allow yourself to have some humor in the situation. And maybe, maybe they're rebuilding the Arctic. You just don't know. But these skills are absolutely essential, that curiosity, when you're trying to say, okay, I'm curious about why 7 South has had PPE, but 7 North has used all theirs up. What is the difference? And, what are the infection control technique differences? That's being curious about the situation, and really being curious even about your own response to it. What am I feeling right now? It allows you that time to stop, to reflect and breathe. And I just want to say briefly, I know that everything that's happening, it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with nature or humanity, but if you look at the world and the natural world, there are tides, there's the winter, where's that? A pause. So the pause gives you that chance to ask questions and be curious. And it's less damaging, I think, emotionally at that moment. Why is this happening? Why now? What can we learn as a culture from all the things that are happening now, so that we can make it better for everyone in the future? And sometimes if you really need to disengage to deal with the situation, taking a step back and saying, okay, now what would my grandmother think if she were to see this situation? To really, if I were a newspaper reporter, what would I say? How would I report this? Or if I was making a film, um, that would allow you then to see things a little less with the pain and the sorrow. Sometimes it's not your emergency anyway. So, is this whatever's happening really my emergency? And that is the curiosities, another one of those curiosity questions that you can ask. One is for coaching questions to really look at this and say, how can I emerge from this in a way that I am more proud of myself? And how can I be even more grateful for what I do have? So these are all skills that I know I have used in my life. I just want to talk about really briefly about one of my other crucible periods. And that was, there was like 5 different areas of my life that was going really badly. And so we had, my husband and I had 4 parents that died within a 3-year period. One of our sons had a mental health break, and all the problems and the sequelae from that. I had a surgical error that restricted and forever changed the use of my right hand and my ability to use my dominant hand, and chronic pain and many other issues with that. Then we also were victims of a crime, or survivors, and but subsequent to that I had a sex offender stalker, and from that I had some post-traumatic stress. And curiosity really helped me to be able to say, why is this happening to me? What do I need to learn from this? How can I grow from all of this chaos? And even stepping back and being curious about how it could be made from, a movie really did make a difference. Eleanor Roosevelt said that if at a child's birth you could give him one gift, it would be curiosity. So back to the 7 C's. I have used all of these to try to be resilient in the face of many things that I've been challenged with. Our next topic will be challenge. Join us.